And at new times, the country's most informative sex education program, Sexplosion, is on every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. and Fridays from 9 p.m. to midnight with Dr. Raj, the guru of sex in the Caribbean.
A lot of times we think that sex is totally below the waist. It is not below the waist. It starts in the brain. Your largest sex organ that you possess is your brain.
Tune in for discussion on all sexual matters. Sexplosion on Power 102, empowering you.
Keep going.
We're looking at 5 minutes past 7. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, Eastern Caribbean, and to all our friends on the World Wide Web at www.power102fm.com. Dr. Raj is in studio. Sexplosion starts now. Good evening, Dr. Raj.
Pleasant good evening to you. Long time no see.
Yeah, boy.
I have to say that, you know. Because they abandoned me.
It's been a while.
Well, I know we have different shifts at the studio, so
Yeah, things happen.
things happen.
Yeah.
But you're back.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, Mark is back. So we're here to talk sex. We're here to talk about Sexplosion, what it's all about. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, pleasant good evening to you, to those on radio. Well, of course, you know, radio is theater of the mind. For those of you who are looking at us through social media, well, of course, you get to see us in the studio. Well, not all of us, but some of us. And you can also interact with us via social media. You can interact with us via Facebook. Ask your questions via Facebook, Instagram. You can connect with me on 7401961. That number again, 7401961. You can send me a text message or a WhatsApp message. It is my personal phone, so don't be afraid to send me a message there. Some people think that it is not my personal phone, but it is my personal phone. So you can always send me a message there, even after the program, which I get a lot of messages after the program. People asking questions about things of a sexual nature. Like today, a lady asked me a question. You know, things that we take for granted, Mark, about things that are happening with you. Another person, they may be experiencing it for the very first time and they have questions about it, you know.
Yeah.
For example, this lady told me that she was making love with a lover.
Yeah.
And he called out her name. And she was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Now, those of us who have the experience will know that when you get caught up in the individual and that feeling is so sweet, you'll end up calling out the person's name. That's why some guys just get catched because they call somebody else's name. And that could cause problems.
Yeah.
But she couldn't understand that, or she didn't know the correlation between calling out someone's name and making love, because she never had that experience before. So the things that we take for granted as sexologists and personalities and whatnot, or the information that we may have, there are others out there who don't know about it. They just don't know what's happening, and they don't know how to decipher that information. So that's why Sexplosion is a very important program. We are here to give you the information that you need. We're here to answer the questions that you need answering, because a lot of time persons have questions that, like I said, we will take for granted because we know the answer. There are individuals who are listening to the program also who also knows the answers to some of the questions that are being asked. But just as much as you have persons who knows the answers, there are load of individuals out there who don't know the answers. So they are confused. They don't know what is really happening. They don't know. And you know, one of the problems we have in society is education. Now, I'm not talking about going to school and getting a degree or passing your subjects or whatnot. Education about basic everyday things, especially when it comes to the human anatomy or your sexuality or your sexual behavior. There's not enough information out there to a person could make an informed decision about things, for them to understand what is happening to their bodies, what is happening to their mind, what is happening to their physical appearance when it comes to the sexual act, because your physical appearance changes when you engage in the physical act of sex, you know. And a lot of times we don't know that. There are persons when making love, they tell their lover, I like looking at your face. It's not because I like looking at your face because you're pretty, you know. It's not that alone, you know. It's what happens to the eyes, what happens to the facial expression, the contortion that takes place. Some person will ask you, are you in pain? Because when they look at your face, the changes in your face look like if you're in pain. But it's not pain, it's ecstasy. Because there's a very fine line between pleasure and pain, between love and hate. A very thin line, you know. Sometimes we don't even understand how thin that line could be. And I like to put it this way. In Indian movies, you see it perfectly. You see a star girl coughing a star boy on the chest and saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. All of a sudden it's, I love you, I love you, I love you. The hate changes to love. Well, I mean, that is movies. But it is that simple. That line is so fine between pleasure and pain, hate and love, that, you know, you mistake, sometimes you mistake what you see. And when you do that, what happens is there's confusion in the mind of the individual who is ignorant of these things. So what I try to do is to get individuals thinking different. I don't want people to like me. I never came on the radio station for people to like me. I came here with a mandate. My mandate was to change the way Trinidadians, Tobagonians, and the Caribbean, and the rest of the world, because when I started off, didn't have social media. Social media is a new thing. But when I started off 19 years ago, my mandate, as a matter of fact, I started off on radio 19 years ago. But when I started off with sex education and sexology and becoming a sexologist, which was close to 30-something, or close to 35, 40 years ago, my mandate to myself was I must change the way we look or we view sex. How we view sex, what we think about sex, what we think about sexuality, and what we think about sexual behavior. Why? Because for too long, people have been given false information, and I'll give you some examples. When I was a young man, I had questions. I grew up in the 70s. The 70s was a kind of time when it was coming out of the 60s, that evolutionary time in our history. The sexual revolution, what they call the sexual revolution. But at the same time, I grew up in a place called Trinidad and Tobago. And we in Trinidad were very conservative when it came to sexual information and sexual things of a sexual nature. The only thing we had that was very close to pornography was calypsos. Tell me that's not true. Calypsos sang about things that were of a sexual nature, but putting it in a different perspective. So the only thing that we had close to porn was calypsos. As a matter of fact, calypsos was way ahead to the rap and thing that you're getting now with the raw words. Because calypso never use the raw words. They will disguise the words. And that's what make it an art form. Yeah. They will not have to curse. But you remember, I don't know if you remember, well, of course you remember this, but the younger generation, they will not remember this. You remember in the 70s, there's a band song for smut? Mm-hmm. What is smut? There were some guys sitting in a room and say, we are like that song, ban it. It had too much smut. Too much innuendos.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Double entendre, we don't want that. And they banning song left, right, and center. In the morning you hear Dave Elcock play a tune, in the evening time you hear it banned.
Yeah. It still happens, isn't it?
I know it happens. I know it still happens because
of the technical era now, you can edit things.
You can edit things, and they have two versions of the songs and whatnot. Correct. Yeah. But long ago you did not have that. But that was the closest we came to sexual education. So education, as Paro sang, came in many different forms when it came to sexual education. But of course, it was for entertainment. It wasn't accurate knowledge. It wasn't accurate information. So I would ask my friends certain questions. You'll hear something in a calypso, or you will have a feeling, or you will see something, or you'll see something in a movie. I remember in those days, the popular movies, the really popular sexual kind of movies, was one with Raquel Welch, right? 100 Rifles, if you remember that. You don't remember 100 Rifles? Go look at it. Go look at it tonight.
100 Rifles.
Go look at it. And then there's Pamge, who was one of my all-time favorite actresses, sexy woman. And you will see things in movies and whatnot, and you'll have questions because your young mind, you're developing, you don't know about these things in detail. And you'll ask your friends certain things, and they will give you information. But you start to question the information because it's not logical. No, I have always had a logical mind. Anything that I approach it with a logical mind. From a very young age, I decipher things and I try to break things up in parts and try to understand each part so that it could better relate to me. Everything that I do. And that's why I was so good at comprehension. I was very good at comprehension. I'll read a passage and I'll break it up and really get into it so I could comprehend every aspect of it. It was my forte at school. I could really, really do that. And sometimes I'll give you one example for as a reference. You ask guys about sex and whatnot, and the guys will start to boast about themselves. Boy, I just mash up things left, right, and center. Boy, I spend time, I'll lash that. But if you have a logical mind and you're thinking about the time, he works from 8 to 4. He takes a car from Curep or Trentoplan or wherever. In those days was Trentoplan doing the houses and whatnot. And coming to Sangre Grande, in those days was about an hour drive. And we playing racing or cricket and thing at about 5 o'clock in the evening. Where you get time to have sex? But eventually you realize that these were made up things in people's mind. And according to the song, you hear lie, that is lie. But they wanted to play the hero. But my thing was why do we have to accept this misinformation about things that are very important to us, especially the younger generation, the young individuals who are developing and they want answers. For example, I had a patient come to me today, and would you believe this is a grown-up man, and then you say grown, it was not 10:30, if it was 10:30, I would have used the right word. A grown-up man. And he's telling me that if you masturbate, you get blind. And he told me a doctor told him that. Now, I like to know who that doctor is. Because if a doctor could tell you something like that, something has to be seriously wrong with misinformation.
You mean something is seriously wrong with the doctor?
Well, I didn't want to say that, but since you put it like that, yeah, since you put it like that, something is seriously wrong here, but why would you tell someone that or give someone that information? Like, there are women out there who believe that if you don't come together with the man coming inside of you, you will not get conceived. You will not conceive. They believe that you must come, a woman must come to conceive, when coming has nothing to do with conceiving. And there are women out there, I remember this conversation with two young individuals. They were in their early 20s. And they believe that if you have intercourse and you drink a hot Guinness, or you hot the Guinness and drink it, you're not going to get pregnant. So I asked them, what is the connection between that and getting pregnant, or the digestive system and the reproductive system?
I've heard that already.
And they can't tell you, but they tell you, yes, it does work. It worked for me. I say, you sure that the man who you're having sex with don't have enough sperm to get you pregnant? But they never thought about that. They think that after they had sex and they drink the hot Guinness or whatever. I remember once when we were growing up also, if you spray Coca-Cola, hot Coca-Cola into the vagina of a woman, she will not get pregnant. Taxi drivers used to always drive around with a bottle of hot Coke in the car. Well, I'm telling you, those are the things that you would hear. And these are real things coming from real people. But if you understand the reproductive system, once that sperm penetrates that egg, it forms a barrier that nothing gets in there. You know that? A protective barrier, So you could spray whatever you want into that vagina, it ain't touching that, If the sperm does not die before it hits the egg, it's going to impregnate the woman. But there are women out there, young women out there, to this day, that have all these old wives' tales and belief that if I do these things, I could have sex freely, I don't have to watch my cycle, I don't need to be on any contraceptive, it's okay. Some guys will tell you, I will pull out. But pre-cum, that is used to to lubricate the foreskin and lubricate the vagina also have sperm in it, so you could get pregnant from pre-cum. Now, of course, one of the questions that is asked by some women is, can I get pregnant from swallowing break or swallowing what we call cum or ejaculation? And the answer is no. There is no connection between the digestive system and the reproductive system, so you can safely swallow ejaculation and not get pregnant. But I'll tell you something, playing around with the vagina, taking a penis and maybe rubbing it on the vagina or ejaculating on a woman, a non-venous area, she could get pregnant from that. Because the sperm could leak into the vagina. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you recall this, about maybe 20 years ago, there was a woman who sued her husband because, let me explain this correctly, I don't want to get it wrong. She sued her husband for having extramarital affair because she had a child that was not his. And when they checked back, it was proven that he had intercourse with a prostitute. And prior to that, a guy had intercourse with the prostitute, and the sperm, the semen, remained in his foreskin. And she got pregnant from that. And these are actual case studies. So when you are studying these things now, when you go to university and you're in a classroom setting and the professor brings something like that to you, you have to decipher that now. Is it possible? How is it possible? What are the ramifications of it? These things do happen. For example, condoms could break, although condoms are one of the safest things to have sex with, but one of the things we don't take into consideration, and women ask this question all the time, am I safe to have sex with a man if he have on a condom that I will not get an STD or STI? And my answer is no. And people say, but condoms are safe. Condoms are safe because it covers the penis. It covers 98% of the penis, sometimes 90% of the penis, depending on the size of the penis. The pubic area is not covered. If a man has herpes, it's in the pubic area, it's not on the penis. And herpes is highly contagious. So the minute the herpes area that he has the sore or the wound or whatever touches your skin, you get it immediately. It's airborne. So when someone asks that question, now the other answer to that, if you use the female condom, it covers the entire vagina. And that protects you more than the male condom. Now the male condom will not break easily. Of course, what causes a male condom to become weak is if you keep it in your car and the car is hot all the time, which of course we know the car is hot all the time. I just came from Las Vegas a few hours ago. Las Vegas was 111 degrees today. My God. Well, yesterday, because I left there last night. When I landed there, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, it was 105 degrees. So if you keep in a condom in your car at that amount of degrees, or in your wallet, and you're sitting on it all the time, it's going to become weak. It's not meant for that. Your body heat is going to heat up that condom and cool it down. So while you're sitting here, think about it. When you sit on a seat and you get up and you move about, somebody say, boy, you are a real sin boy. Look how hot this seat gets. Don't we say that? Think about something in your back pocket, your wallet, your condom, or whatever it may be. It gets weak because it was never meant for that use. It was never meant from going to extreme heats. Temperature, sorry. So you have a condom that was manufactured and it has an expiry date of, let's say, 2025. I'm exaggerating here, but normally it's 2023 or so. But you put that in your back pocket, you don't use it for a month, you're back and forth, you take it out, you drop it in your glove compartment, you say, ah boy, she gave me a thing today. You take it out and put it back in your pocket. It remains in the car is hot, it gets cold, it gets weak. So it will break while having intercourse. It will burst, it will come apart, whatever word you want to use. That is possible. There's also some cheap tail condom they have out there too. That was not meant. Trinidad is a dumping ground for things. They dump a lot of things in here, including condom. Because you could get some condom that you'll never hear about anywhere in the world being sold here. There are products that are sold in Trinidad, you'll never get them anywhere else in the world. Except maybe a third world country like ourselves that things are being dumped. But because we have such a large consumption of these things, You know, Trinidad per capita has the largest consumption of adult pills in the world. We consume so much. There are men from who visit Trinidad from the United States and whatnot, expats working here and whatnot. And their friends will tell them to buy stuff here and take it back to them. You know, I know guys that's coming here to buy Viagra. You know. Seriously, you know. Because you could get it over the counter. Although it's a prescription drug, you could get it over the counter. But because our borders are perforated in many different ways, you have suitcase traders, you have, of course, these things cannot strive if you have individuals or officials who are not corrupt, you know, but you have a lot of corrupt people. Corruption is the order of the day, and that is something that I just don't like. Corruption is the order of the day to get things done. So you pass a bribe and you get things passed through. There are things that are being sold that are not supposed to be sold. And these are the things that are happening. But getting back to the safety of the individuals, when they talk about STD, STI testing, making sure that you are clean and your partner is clean. There are some people who don't want to spend that $500, you know, but they'll spend thousands of dollars after when they get an infection, you know, because they tell themselves, she looking clean. You know, once a guy called the program and he said, "Doctor, I just only have sex with fat women." I say, "Explain yourself." He said, "Big, thick woman." I said, "I don't understand why. Is that your fetish?" No, it could be your fetish and that's what you like. He said, "No, they are sure they have AIDS." I say, "Boy, mash breaks right here." I had to tell him that is not true. She could be carrying the virus and not be affected by the virus, you know. They are carriers. And you would never know unless the person does a test. And this is when the big hoopla was about HIV and AIDS and whatnot. Now that is common. Nobody cares about HIV and AIDS. People don't even bother about that anymore. But do you know there are 30-something others STD and STIs out there?
I know there are a lot of STIs.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Plenty.
There's about 30 others STD and STIs out there that we don't pay attention
I
to.
think the English people made some sort of research lately and found there were about 1 million.
No, well, that's in the extreme because anything could give you an infection.
Yeah.
Anything could give you an infection in your vagina, it could give you an infection in your mouth. You could get infections. So let's not go to the extreme, but about 30 recognized STDs and STIs. That's why when we send someone to get tested, we test them thoroughly. We do the full testing. It's very expensive. It's an expensive test. But you do the full testing. It's a thorough test. But STDs and STIs aside, the only time you worry about STDs and STIs is after the fact, you know. I wonder if she has something, way. God, but I take a chance, they way. Nah, man, she looking too clean. But it's already too late. If you were to get something, you will get it because you have engaged in something and you have exposed yourself. That's why a program like this is very important, where we can reach individuals out there. And I like I say, I get ton loads of messages. Sometimes a person will say, "Raj, you didn't respond to my message that I sent you." And I'm like, "Did you ask me a question?" Because if you didn't ask me a question, I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to say, sometimes I don't even say thanks or hi. Because I have so many questions to answer on a daily basis. For time I wake up in the morning, there are persons who call me in the middle of the night to ask questions. If I'm awake, I will take it. If I'm not, I will not take it. Of course, it goes into a voice message. If you send me a message, and I wake up, I look at my WhatsApp, I'll answer you. Because I try my best to stay connected with everyone out there, because that's the service I provide. I have mandated myself that I change the way people think about sex and view sex and deal with sex. So I can't say I'm going to make myself unavailable. So when I travel, I have my US number that I use out there, and then I still walk with my Trinidad phone in case somebody sends me a question or whatever. Because I have to stay connected. Someone asked me that recently, "Why do you have so many phones?" And I had to explain to them why. But I make myself available simply because of the wrong information that are given to individuals and sometimes the fright that are instilled in individuals. You can't frighten someone to not have sex. The human mind don't work that way. if I give you a lecture, let's say we have a lecture inside of here and we have 25 persons, and we're doing a lecture on the ills of unprotected sex. Everyone is going to listen, but not everyone is going to hear what I'm saying. Every person, you're going to touch them and touch them differently. And some person will say, you know what Dr. Raj saying is true, right? Thank God I don't do those things. So your defense is I don't do those things, so I don't need to listen to what you say. If I don't do it, I don't need to know it. That's how the human mind works. If it's an interest that you have, you'll pay attention. But in paying attention, your interpretation of what's being said is also based on you and the way you see things and the way you understand things to be. So your interpretation might be different from the way I am delivering it. Because if something was to happen in a particular area and 5 of us or 4 of us who are here look at the very same thing, we will not see the same thing. We will all have a different version of it. Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. It helps me, when I'm seeing that. We just had Steve Khan walk. No, we took that off. I don't want to be looking at that when I'm doing my program, Mr. Khan. It disturbs me. It pulls my attention. We are trying to get something done in the studio here. Use the remote control. That's not working?
I say it's off.
No, we took it off with the remote control. Thank you, sir.
That's why the other one shut off.
No. That when I came, it was off. He's creating the atmosphere. Because he see an angel here, just want to, okay, Steve. That's the boss, Mr. Khan. So, we are like that. Human beings are like that. And the only time it will really affect us is when something happens or somebody tells us that this has happened to an individual. Then we start putting ourselves in their shoes and say, but that could have happened to me, boy. I was checking that same woman. I was checking that guy. I had to check myself. But everything is a 9-day wonder. At the moment, it would be important to you. And as time goes by, it becomes less important to you. It's like what's happening now with the murder. Now, every murder is supposed to affect us. But when you have somebody like Mr. Chukong being killed, I mean, for those of us in the entertainment arena and whatnot, it affects us differently. But it tells us that we are vulnerable. That is what it tells us, that we are all vulnerable. But come next week, that is old news. That doesn't affect us anymore the way it does, and we move on with our lives. The same thing with sexual things. So you cannot frighten a child into thinking that you shouldn't have sex. Because once the hormones kick in, and let's face it, as a young man or a young woman in your teenage years, don't you, if you could remember, I don't know if you could recall so far back, your teenage years back, how you used to feel sexually. But we never used to pay attention and say, well, let me understand or remember how I used to feel. Because the aging process does not allow for that. We know we used to feel horny. We know we used to want to do certain things. We know we used to masturbate or whatever we used to do. Or even engage in things of a sexual nature. But it does not mean to say we're going to remember all the details. But as you get older, with experience, with knowledge, things change. So that's what I'm telling, I keep telling parents and others this, because sometimes parents would bring their children to my office for me to talk to them. And they want me to actually frighten their children. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. What you have to do is be more open with them. But some parents cannot be open with their children because they never maintain that open line of communication. They never talk about things in a way that wouldn't cause embarrassment, because it's a very embarrassing thing to talk about sex, It's not an easy thing to talk about. Even for couples who are married. I know many couples, when they come to me for counseling and whatnot, and you ask them, have you ever expressed to your husband the things that you like sexually? And they're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't express it to your husband, who are you going to express it to? Who are you going to express it to? You may tell me as a professional because you want me to help you, but I can't help you in the bedroom. I can give you pointers as to what you should be doing. I can talk to your husband. I can give him pointers what he should be doing, and vice versa. But I am not there in the bedroom with you. But many a times we cannot do these things simply because we never open that line of communication with our spouse, with our children, to do these things openly. So we are afraid or ashamed. How many of us have been embarrassed by something that is being shown on television and our children are sitting there, or our parents are sitting there and you're like, oh God, they're actually showing this thing and I have to be sitting here? How many of us? We have all been in that situation. Even I have been in that situation. But being the kind of person that I am, and the open-mindedness that I have given myself from a very young age, it's like, that's life. These are the things that are happening. My parents never say, oh, you go out of the room. The only thing I remember when we were young, we couldn't watch Love American Style. That was shown late at night. I think that is the show just before sign-off. From 9 to 10, TV used to sign off at 10. Mark, you're helping me, you know. You are man supposed to remember all these things, you know.
Well, some of them are new to me.
You never hear about Love American Style?
I can't remember that. I can't.
You can.
I'm trying, but I can't.
This is in the 70s.
Yeah, no.
But it was a very popular show about things of sexual innuendos. So it was a very popular program, but it was the program just before sign off at night. So you had to sneak and watch it. You remember when cable come out, there was a lot of soft porn on Showtime and HBO,
Cinemax
and children used to sneak out to watch the soft porn. Right, it was very similar to that, but the soft porn I think used to come on at about 10, 11. What time used to watch the soft porn? You never look at it? Oh, she never look at it. So you can't help me either. I batted alone, boy. As the last man in the
I'm
wicket.
trying to remember that. I just can't remember that.
I am the last man in the wicket, boy. Way. We play windball cricket and I is the last man. If I organize it here,
I got a commercial set. There's more on the other side.
you take it.
This is Power 102, empowering you.
The Supers are on the way and ready to take the stage.
What is
Jamboree
GC?
2019 at the ML Ballpark, Makoya on Sunday.
Renuka, what is that?
And features the
No, I'm talking to
superheroes
somebody
and
else.
champions you love.
Support your kids and get your masks ready.
This is the Superpowered Kids Concert of the Song.
The Superpowered Kids Concert of the Song. Kids Jamboree 2019. Superheroes and champions.
Kids Jamboree.
Kids are only $80 and adults $100. Tickets are out, so get them now at Francis Fashion Shoe Locker, Corner Queen and Henry Street, Port of Spain, Twin City Mall, Tulapuna and Arima, Fats International, Arima and Twin City Mall, and at Boom 94's offices, 88 to 90 Abercrombie Street, Port of Spain. So, get your access tickets early and join in on the adventure. The Supers. Touchdown at the Kids Concert of the Summer on Sunday, 4th August at the ML Ballpark, Makoya. Superheroes and champions. The fun and vibes is coming. Sponsored by Cons Bike Zone,
Junior.
Sunshine Cereals, and the Any1 mobile app.
Your health is your responsibility. Daily, we are faced with difficult health decisions. Are there safe, effective methods to help improve our conditions? How can we work along with our medical practitioners to maximize the quality of our lives? And to what extent, by our lifestyles, do we contribute to our health concerns? Tune in to Power 102 FM Friday mornings at 11:25 when Dr. Howard Chinfat, a certified natural health professional and doctor of naturopathy, discusses herbs, homeopathic remedies, and lifestyle changes that can assist in improving the quality of our lives. Remember, your health is your wealth. This segment is sponsored by HNG Enterprises Limited, distributors of Nature's Way, Bioforce, Biostrath, Carlson Vitamins, and other natural products of the highest quality.
Are the problems and destructive anxieties of today tearing you apart? If there was ever a time to readjust your priorities and refocus your vision, it's now. Join Pastor Wayne Sampson on the Vision of Hope devotional program every Monday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. right here on Power 102 FM. Jesus is the only one who can give you peace in the midst of today's storm.
The event of the summer is here.
Yo, Kids Jamboree!
Kids Jamboree 2019, featuring your favorite superheroes and champions. This is the Superpowered Kids Concert of the summer. Introducing Viola Nyla and her full band.
Naomi, come and dance with me at the Kids Jamboree. I will be there to make you get off your feet and dance.
Viola Nyla. Super Second.
Yo, Kids Jamboree, I'm coming. Your boy Super Second.
Coming to make you pump, jump, and make you rock out. The Incredible Island Boy, Pretty.
On August 4th, Kids Jamboree 2019, the Incredible Island Boy Pretty will be live. And I'm just so excited to show you my new superpower, control over candy.
The ultimate party champion, 5-star kill.
Yo, we going Jamboree 5-star kill. I am coming to bring all the vibes. Superheroes.
Joyous Sharon.
Well, this is Joyous Sharon, and I'm excited about the 4th of August, the Kids Jamboree. You know, my superpower is to bring love, laughter, joy, peace. Okay. Bam, bam, mera, mera. My journey got a lot of work with me.
Joyous Sharon, Viola Nyla, Super Second, 5-star kill, and Pretty, the Incredible Island Boy at the Summer Kids Jamboree on Sunday, 4th August at the UMO Ballpark, Makoya.
Kids Jamboree.
Superheroes and champions. Sponsored by Cons Bike Zone, Sunshine Series, and the Any1 mobile app.
You're listening to Power 102.
And inside Sexplosion Thursday, Dr. Raj.
Someone asked the question, why do they get anxiety when it comes to asking for sex from their lover? Anxiety sets in because of a lack of communication, a lack of establishing that open line of communication with your partner. If you don't develop that at the very beginning of your relationship, the way you talk, how open you are, how expressive you are about your feelings, about the things that you want, about the things that you need, who you are.
Is that the same feeling you get with like someone on the outside?
Well, someone on the outside, you would not get that same feeling because the person on the outside, you will express yourself more to that person. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes we create an image of ourselves with our partner, our regular partner, and we want to maintain that. And we don't want to show our true colors when it comes to our sexual being, which is wrong. You have to express yourself. You have to let your partner know who you are, who you truly are, what are your needs and wants, what are the things that are going to make you whole as a person. For example, there are a lot of men who are sexually attractive to their wives. They have sex ever so often, however that may be. It depends on the person. But they still masturbate, but they don't confess to their wives that they masturbate. They're afraid or ashamed. But what's wrong with masturbation? Masturbation doesn't mean to say I don't like you, as maybe I think about you when I'm masturbating, or maybe I think about something that is more in line with my sexuality or my sexual behavior when I masturbate. There must be a reason for it. And the next question will be, well, what is more in the line of your thinking when it comes to sex? And if I'm able to tell you that, maybe you can have pillow talk about it, maybe you can have sex talk about it, maybe it becomes part of your repertoire when you're having sex, or when you're making love to your wife, when you're making love to your husband. Well, how many persons can do that? Not many. Not many persons can really get into the taboo subjects that it takes to stimulate them or turn them on. And I use the word taboo subjects here very loosely because it could be anything. You know, things that are ordinary to you and I may be taboo to another person. For example, cursing. There are women out there who will not tell their husband or their lover to F me. They will not use that word. you know, and they will just remain quiet, but the mere use of that one word could cause such a stimulating effect on the male that you will have better love making in that one word. It's like a key. It's like a key. There's some women, not because they have a latent desire to do it. For example, they might be thinking about, you know, a teacher-student scenario, and they may turn to their lover and say, well, I was a naughty girl till they spanked me, and the husband or the boyfriend is, what wrong with you, girl? What kind of nastiness is that? If you react to that in that way to your lover, she switches off from you, you know, because she's not going to bring up anything again because she's ashamed and afraid. So what you have done is introduce something to be ashamed and afraid about, so she cannot have an open line of communication with you again. I remember one woman telling me that she called her while her husband was having sex. She said, "Daddy," and he went off. But that is just in her mind. That is just something that is stimulating at the moment. It's like somebody calling your name during sex. But if we put the literal term to everything that happens during sex, you will never have sex. There's some people out there who wouldn't have sex because it becomes so literal. There are person out there who are wishing that they can hear a moan or a groan from their partner, and the other person silent like a lamb, you know. You hear nothing, you know. You ain't getting a wine back, you know. They're just lying there, and it's like, you finish your work, and when you finish, let me know, please. And that's the reality of life. That is what's happening, and that is what...
Is there something wrong with that?
Of course there's something wrong with that.
When I say something wrong with the person, I'm not
there's something wrong with the relationship. There's something wrong with the person, of course. Why can't... Okay. If I meet someone and I'm interested in that person, the first thing that you need to do is be honest. And lots of time we start off a relationship on lies. If you start a relationship with lies, what are you going to do after that? It's not going to blossom. So you start off honestly, especially the sexual part of who you are. What are your likes and... I mean, you don't go too deep because you don't want to run the person either. But you start off being honest. If you like oral sex, tell the person you like oral sex. There are some women out there who shame to tell them, man, they want them to go down on them. Because of the fear factor that you may think about me as a slut, or you may look at me less. But it's not that. I want you to be honest. Tell me what you like, and I will tell you what I like, and we'll meet halfway in between. And I might even go 70% and you can come 30%. It doesn't matter. So that's where the problem comes in with relationship. When you have a person that doesn't want to have sex with you, you start questioning your sexuality, your sexual being, your looks, your everything. Your self-esteem goes down. Because although sex is not the most important thing in a relationship, and the important thing in a relationship is trust. You need trust. You need to have a relationship where communication, compromise, all these things. But sex is the cement that is binding everything together, because you could have all those things and the sex poor. What you going to do? Not break the trust? Isn't that one of the reasons people step outside of the marriage? If I am not getting the satisfaction from the relationship that I need. Now, there are some persons who have an open relationship, meaning their partner knows of the things that they like, unable to fulfill it, so you're free to do those things. But don't let me know about it. I don't want to be jealous. I don't want it to interfere with our life. There are persons who live in relationships like that, so they don't go back and talk about it. There are persons who have because of a deterioration in the relationship, have reached a point where they tell their partner, well, you do whatever you want to do, you know. But you're saying that out of anger. You're not saying that out of love. You're not telling the person truly, well, you could go ahead and do whatever you want to do. You're telling them that in anger, well, you do whatever you want to do now. But the minute they do whatever they want to do, is like, what make you do what make you do that? You're questioning that, but you told the person, go ahead and do whatever you want to do, because you are unable to fulfill that, whether it be male or female, it doesn't matter, you know, because on both sides of the fence, you have the very same problem. both sides of the fence. So you cannot say it's a woman problem or it's a man problem. I know when a woman sitting down there, there are women say, well, I'm more a man problem. No, and there are men sitting, I'm more a woman problem. It is not. It is more people's problem. You know, do not think for a minute that women are not sexual. They are not curious also. They are not as expressive as we are because we wear it on our face and our shoulders. Women wear it inside here. It's all hidden in there. But it is there. You can't tell me a woman don't have it inside of there because they are sexual creatures just as we are, more so. But we are driven to it because of hormones, because of manliness and machoism. So we express it differently. But women, that's why I tell men, you know, if your wife want to horn you, you going horn and you're going horn on your bed, you know.
I'm sure that. They wouldn't even know.
On your bed, you know. You will go out and pick up a woman and go and rent a hotel room or go and do it in a car. But she's doing it on your bed, you know. And don't ever feel you could block a woman from giving it away if she wants to, you know. If she wants to. And if a woman meets you, and this is a given. Most of the time when a woman meets you for the first time, she knows whether or not she wants to go to bed with you. Is what you do after him will determine if it happens. It's up to you now to make it happen. She already know that it's going to happen, you know. But she just, well, we use the word playing hard to get, but it's not playing hard to get. She's being a woman. She is being a woman. You have to be the man. That's why lots of time you go to a party, you go to a fete, you go somewhere in a bar or whatever, and you see a pretty woman or a sexy woman. And again, it's in the eyes of the beholder. And you tell yourself, like, I wonder if I could talk to she. And she, in her mind, why do you ask she don't come and talk to me? I wish she could come and talk to me.
Yeah.
But she's not going to be forward and go and talk to him because it's not being a woman. But she might smile, but you might misinterpret the smile. Whether she's smiling with me or the fella behind me. But you start questioning yourself because you don't have that strength within yourself. You don't have that self-esteem to think, well, yes, it is me. But the fact remains that women are sexual creatures, just as men are sexual creatures. We're human beings. What you do or how you express it is differently. So we as men have to decipher that as we go along. I forgot to say hello to Sexy Sad. My darling, I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you when I came back on, and that is the Sexy Sad.
Sexy who?
Sad.
Yeah.
Don't try to figure it out.
SAD?
SAD. Don't try to figure it out. No, SAD is an acronym.
Okay.
It doesn't mean to say it's an emotion.
I was just wondering if that is an oxymoron or what.
No.
Oxy it is.
No. It's an acronym.
Okay.
SAD.
All right.
Try to figure it out. You'll go crazy. We have another 11 minutes to do it. So when you question yourself about your ability, you're already in a failure mode, you know, because you're telling yourself, I'm not capable of doing these things.
But suppose it's something based on how the guy or the woman feel about their age and in comparison. Suppose it's somebody
it could be that,
younger,
but
much older.
If you're thinking along those lines, you're writing yourself off on something that is natural. Your aging process is your aging process. Every second that goes by, you age. There's no person on this earth who could sit down here and say, a second went by and I didn't age, you know.
But the thing about what I'm trying to say is that some people might feel that want to he but he watching this young thing, or want to she but he watching
it doesn't. You see, if we start looking at what society thinks, then you're in real trouble. If a person starts thinking about what society thinks and I must do things based on society, you are in serious trouble. We didn't say a pleasant good night to Junior. I don't know if he's still on. I know.
You must think like Sparrow. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number, correct? But is it just a number because you are seeking something, or is it just a number because that's your mindset? Which is it? If you think you're young, you are young. If you think mature, there are lots of young persons out there who are very mature. I've met young men and young women who are so mature. You enjoy a conversation with them and you're blown away. You're like, wow, this fella know where you go in.
Yeah.
Because they're mature thinking. And I've met some mature looking persons who are very immature in the way they think. So it's vice versa. Why can't a younger person like an older person like a younger person? And you know, I like to do my research in many different forums. And there's just one Indian actor that I love to see him act. He's not popular. His name is Nana Patekar. And I love to see him act. He is such a good actor. But he's not only a good actor, but he's a humanitarian. Every cent that he makes from acting, he gives it to the poor. He's not rich. And he's not famous. He's not one of those famous guys. But if you see him act, you want to see all his movies. Eh? And only yesterday I was reading an article. One of the most very popular young actress fell in love with him. And they had a relationship. And I didn't know that before. And it's like, wow. But it's not wow to me, but it's like, I am so happy for him. Because he's not a good looking guy. He looks like any ordinary Trinidadian that you walk through any street. He looks like a typical Trinidadian that doesn't take care of himself. He's very slim, dark, unpolished. But the man could act. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter how you look, there's somebody out there for you, you know. It doesn't matter how you carry about yourself, there's somebody out there. But what caught me with the story is that this person was acting as his daughter in a movie. And she was taken with him based on his charisma. So if he did not have the charisma, he would have never gotten this person to like him. If he was a drab, dull individual, it was never going to happen. So the charisma is also something that attracts. How do we develop that? Are you sure about yourself? You know, some people tell me I'm cocky. I just tell me I'm cocky and I'm damn sure about myself, you know. I can handle any situation, anytime, anyhow, and anybody, you know. And that has nothing to do with cockiness. It has to do with my self-esteem and how I feel about myself. I know who I am. I can handle any situation, anything happening in my family or extended family. They call me first. Raj, how we going to handle this? Well, what are we going to do? I have the solution. Because I'm not afraid of a situation. If sometimes I go out and I see somebody I want to talk to them, I go up and talk to them. I'm not trying to get into your pants because I'm talking to you, but it is my personality to show you that I could talk to you because the charisma is there. How do you develop that charisma? And there are lots of individuals, young men and women, who also have that. But they're shy. It's not blossoming yet because they don't have the experience of it. And you have to decipher that. You have to see it. You have to pick on it. You have to say, okay, this is the way it is. Let it simmer. Let it cook. It's going to come out. But what makes it come out? Mentoring. Mentoring makes it come out. How you approach the person and the things that you do with the person. So to answer your question, if you study what society thinks, you are going to end up in a lot of problem and you're going to be very unhappy. You know, I was telling the young lady here today that nobody makes you happy. You make you happy by doing things that you want to do, being sure about yourself. But what enhances that happiness is the people around you. You know, we have reached a point in our society where friends and family doesn't matter because we have social media. We consider people that we chat with on Facebook and whatnot more important than the friends that you grew up with.
That's so true.
We say hello to them every day and we don't even pick up the phone and call our friends and say, hey, how you going? Somebody you grew up with, somebody you pitch marble with, or somebody you pick mango with, or somebody you went to school with. Why? We are becoming detached. We treat strangers as family and family as strangers. Isn't that a messed up world?
Very much so.
People just want, my friends and everything, you know. If somebody's my cousin, I just say, this is my cousin. It doesn't matter if it's a distant cousin or a blood cousin or a cousin twice removed or once removed. This is my cousin. So immediately I establish that this is my family. But he's also my friend. Or she's also my friend. Because I believe in that and I trust in that and I love that. But that's me. But how many of us do that? How many of us reach out to people who we're supposed to reach out to and embrace them? And if you don't do that, And the point I'm making here, and I hope people understand this point, if you don't do that, you become withdrawn within yourself, and you cannot even reach out to somebody that you like. You're dependent on social media. How I go tell this girl I like she, but I don't even know how to talk to her. Or I will show this man that I love him, or I like him, or I want to be with him, and I don't know how to put string together a sentence. I wonder what he will think about the way I'm talking. There are some people who cannot put together a sentence or speak to another person because they can't put it in such a way that, spoken word is so much nicer than texting. If I text you, hey girl, I want to meet you, and I say, hey, I'd like to meet you later. Isn't that two different things?
Two different things.
It's the sound of the voice. She already pick up from the sound of the voice that I'm interested in you. But if I say I want to meet you later, I say, well, you want to go pick mango? What do you want to go and do? You don't know what I want to meet you later means. Yeah. And this is where the spoken words become more powerful, but we don't speak enough. Young people in a party, you see them, they're right there, your girlfriend right there texting. What the hell is this? What is this?
Yeah, it's a crazy word now with that.
Totally crazy. I'm not condemning these things because I myself I'm on the phone and I text and whatnot. Yeah. But if I see my sister come on,
friendships develop now based on social media. Sometimes you see all kind of mad things happen when they try to meet. But
it's so much easier and nicer to express yourself in that way. Mm-hmm. Do not be afraid to express with the spoken word. I just saw my sister coming in the other day. I had to buff her about something. I said, when you want something from me, talk to me. Just call me and talk to me. That's all it takes. I will buff you for not doing the right thing, But once you do the right thing, I have nothing to tell you. As a matter of fact, I try my best to open up to you because that's how I am. I believe in being like that. I don't need, and the same thing, I have friends I haven't seen for years. But the minute we meet, it's like we just saw each other yesterday because that bond is always there. But when we meet, we reminisce and we behave stupid, we behave like children. But that's how we are. That's how we are. But we don't need to do that every single day. But it is what strengthens you as a person in your communicative skills. That area of communication, there are persons who will sit down there and they frighten to talk, the anxiety sets in. What do I say? I wonder if I go say the right thing. I wonder how he go look at me. But give it a try. If you say the wrong thing, the person might just smile with you and say, well, you mean so and so? And if it's that, it's like, yeah, I really mean so and so. But intimidation comes about when you are not sure of yourself. Anybody could intimidate you. Any situation could intimidate you. Where are you going like that? Yeah. Any situation could intimidate you. Any woman could intimidate you. Any man could intimidate you when you're not sure of yourself because you have not developed that within yourself. But once you could communicate easily, you could start a conversation about anything, and it does not have to be about what you have in your mind, but it will eventually lead to that. That's what communication is all about. It's not just typing words. It is not just looking at somebody on social media and communicating. It is much more than that. So if you want to build your self-esteem, if I talk to you, if I'm talking to you as a human being, you think I would not compliment you? I will find something to compliment you. Of course. Because it's part of the conversation. Hey boy, I like that shoes you wear last week, boy. And the person feel good about themselves and they try to remember that. I went to a store in Las Vegas last night. Yeah. As I walked in the store, the guy looked at my hand. He said, I like, nice watch you have there. I didn't look at my watch. I knew what watch I was wearing. This very same watch. And I just continued walking in the store. But a couple of minutes after, the lady who's at the desk cashing turned to me and complimented me on my shirt. I said, that is not a true compliment. They have been trained to compliment somebody when they come in here for you to buy something. Because you can't get two compliments like that, one after the other. No way. No way. Especially from two different sexes. So it's part of their training to make you buy something in the store. So I looked at that and I was watching them how they... Now, after that, I noticed when somebody else come in, they complimented them about something else.
Yeah.
I say, yes, that's part of their training. But that's what I do. I'm a social anthropologist. I study people. I study situation. I study movements. I study different things that persons don't look at. A person might go there and say, hey, you know, I like to go in a store. Anytime I go there, they tell me about my shirt. They will tell me about... But they're just telling you that it is not a true compliment. It is not a true compliment. A true compliment comes from the heart. One of those compliments is just to trap you to get you to buy something. But if you with someone but have no interest in sex, if you with somebody for an attractive woman like you, darling, now you are a very sexy, attractive woman, this person who is asking this question. And if you with a man for a year and he want to have sex with you, is either he gay or he's totally disinterested.
I have to be careful when I say those things these days.
I'm not afraid to say it. Why should I be afraid to say that? You ever know me to put water in my mouth to say something?
No.
Well, right, this is who I am. Take me for who I am. If you don't like it, take off the radio and go and sleep. I'm very straightforward, you know. Sometimes a little raw, but I'm very straightforward. Because how I see it is so I say it. How I see it, so I say it, because I realize that a lot of people beat around the bush and they give you a lot of BS and they're not honest and straightforward with you. And they tell you things that they think you want to hear and they don't tell you the real thing. If I will show you a picture of this woman and you tell me, and I think she will give me permission to do that. Because you knew on the program, she don't know you, she know Junior.
Okay.
But I will show you a picture of this woman. And you tell me if you are a man and you are with this woman, you wouldn't want to have sex with her. Mama is right. And that's just the face. If you see the body.
I tell you what. Great.
Right. So would you think the same thing? Or if it's not that, it means that there is not a sexual attraction in the relationship. That's a platonic relationship.
Wait, you have to break down that for me. Every woman is looking like what you showed me there. What is about sexual? There is no sexual attraction. What else?
Well, it means the man has, okay. I guess
he has eyes for something else.
Oh, you tell me.
Mama.
So you tell me an attractive woman like that.
Yeah.
Pretty, sexy, shapely, and
full works.
Maybe something's wrong with him. Maybe he has a hormonal imbalance. Maybe he have low testosterone. Maybe he don't have a sex drive. So something is wrong.
So why would he get involved with a woman like that?
Why do you get involved with someone?
No, I mean, if that attracted
No, why do you get involved with someone? There's always a reason.
It looked like
now you have to
attracted there taking pictures and stuff. Probably that's a turn on for him.
Don't some people want a trophy girlfriend or a trophy wife?
Yeah.
Could be that. I'm not saying it's that.
Some guys are not very capable in that.
I'm not saying it is that. There are some persons who are just boring. They're boring in bed. They're boring. But they're your boyfriend or your girlfriend and they're boring. But you tolerate them because that's what you are. And you don't know how to let go. You don't know how to let go. You don't know how to tell the person, here, how you punch one away. I gone. Or you don't want to do it because of some commitment that you may have or some sort of responsibility or some sort of an attachment, right? But at the same time, is that making you happy? At the end of the day, are you going to be so inclined to feel good about yourself?
No way.
Well, right. You have a woman like that questioning her beauty? Come on, man. Somebody want licks.
For real. I tell you.
No, I know her personally. So I could tell you that.
But she's a gorgeous lady.
Well, right. So if you are that gorgeous and you have a boyfriend or a man or whatever, and he is not interested in sex.
Yeah, something's very wrong.
Something is very wrong.
Very, very, very wrong.
So you have to start question. No, you can't question your beauty, and you can't question that because that is physically there. Anybody could see that. But you have to start questioning, well, why is this relationship this way? What is happening here? Is it? And there are lots of women out there, and I'll tell you something. At the clinic, maybe 60% of the men who come to the clinic is because a woman forced them to come in. You know, many women out there, and I have to thank the women out there, just tell them, man, it's about time you go and see Dr. Raj. I think you should go and see Dr. Raj. There's one guy in particular. Came about 3 weeks ago. He's been calling many times and he always saying come in and make an appointment. Finally came. I did what I have to do for the 2 weeks and he went. Came back this week gone by. Well, I guess it was Saturday. And he said, you know why a woman tell me? What take you so long to go by Raj? What take you so long to go there? Look at how things improve in 2 weeks' time. Now I'm not doing that for advertising. I'm just telling you that the women out there are the ones who drive the men to do the right thing. Because if she didn't care about him, she'd just say, okay, you continue failing and I go and find a man out there. The hell was with you? We go remain friends. We go be friendly, you'll get a little thing now and then and I get my thing outside and I happy. I have to use the word thing. We're not at that hour where I could use the word that I want to use. Dr. Raj, is it true or false that the first 15 minutes during sex is the most pleasurable? It depends on your duration of sex. The first 15 minutes is not the most pleasurable. You could build up. Well, again, it depends on the person. There are men who out there will tell you the first 2 minutes is the most pleasurable because I done break. I done. And there are women out there also who builds up. For 20 minutes they're building up. And then they start to get into a sexual high. So there's no time limit as to when sex is pleasurable. And when you put parameters like that, for example, it takes about 20 minutes for a woman to achieve an orgasm. From foreplay to achieving an orgasm. There are some women who can achieve an orgasm in 2 minutes. There's some women who will take an hour to achieve an orgasm, and there's some women who will never achieve an orgasm because of techniques and whatnot, lacking these things.
Where does excitement come in?
Well, excitement comes about because of the chemistry with the sex. The things that, okay, first of all, the attraction between you and your partner, the love making that goes with it, the things that he might do or she might do that will build whatever you're doing, the things that he or she may whisper in your ear, the way they look at you, the touch, where they touch. There are some women, they would not tell you, well, play with my buttocks. But some women, you touch them on the buttocks and that's it, they're gone. They're in a different zone. They're in a different zone. They're gone because they're getting something that they always wanted, but then they're afraid to tell you. So you as the lover have to experiment and see while touching. No, you don't just go and touch a woman in she anus or try to penetrate her anus just so. It has to be in the heat of the moment. It has to be proper lubrication. She has to be relaxed. And then you could do certain things. But if you got to do it, let me say the first thing you got to do because Dr. Raj said that is what you should do. She might just slap and say, what's wrong with your wife? And the very same woman who will tell you that, oh, I will never do that, oh, I wouldn't allow my man to do that. In the heat of the moment and the passion of the moment and the chemistry between you and her will allow you to do that and more. So, I'm not wrong because I don't tell you things from theory, I tell you from practical. From practical, I can tell you from practical that anytime you could take a docile, conservative individual, I'm not saying man or woman, a docile, conservative individual and train them or teach them how to be a stud or a whore in bed.
Well, there are plenty quiet people who are just looking quiet. You know?
Oh yeah, many individuals who are looking quiet but they never find the person with the key to unlock it. So they remain quiet until they find the person with the key to unlock it. There are women out there who need, last week I talked about BND S&M. There are women out there who like a little spanking and whatnot. But if they mention it to their husband or their boyfriend or whatnot, they go ballistic. So they seek out somebody to do that. There are persons who like to do a quickie. There are persons there are individuals who like to cheat. It's part of their nature. But they wanted the whole world to know about it. So they do it in a clandestine kind of way. It takes all kind of different people to make up the world. And it takes all kind of different persons' sexuality and sexual behavior to make up the world also.
You taking calls? Okay.
Of course.
You can call us at 222-8255 and 612-8255. Join the conversation, all right?
I like when they join the conversation because it opens up my mind. It makes me think. I see the young lady here is just smiling. She's not saying anything. I don't know if she's deciphering what I'm saying or retaining what I'm saying. But what do you do?
So you're taking your calls. You can interrupt us at any time. Moods, Dr. Raj.
Good night, yes sir. Good night, Mr. Raj. I have this friend male. When we first went to bed, he can't have an erection. I asked him why that was happening to him. He said to me that he was with his woman and he left her. He said she told him that if he can't have sex with her, he can't have sex with no one else. But as time goes on, he's buying stuff to enhance his sex drive, and little by little I'm seeing improvement with the medicine from the pharmacy. So now I know he was telling lies. Maybe he's ashamed with his problem, but now I know that you should be able to assist him and more quickly. Mr. Raj, if I didn't love this man, I would leave him alone just for lying on another word, because I think it would hurt you spiritually. The pharmacy can't help you, not so, but I will ask him to visit you. Thank you in advance. Good night. A lot of times we put a plaster on a cut.
Before you explain what you're going to say, tell me something. This non-function, is it being too excited or?
Non-function comes about because of a number of issues. If you have a medical problem, it's going to affect you sexually.
I mean, if the person have a medical problem?
If the person has a medical problem like diabetes, hypertension, it will affect the person, the individual.
Okay.
Your non-functionality has to do with the things that you just brought up there, chemistry and mood and the way the person treats you. I can't go and bust a slap on she and cut she up, and 5 minutes after asking she for sex, she may give me sex because of fear. But other than that, she don't want to have it. So the way you treat your partner, the things you say, the little things that you do to your lover, do for your lover, and I'm not talking about elaborate things. You don't need to bribe the person, but you need to make the person feel good.
But what I'm trying to get at is that, okay, you said there are some people who they can't get an erection when they're going to have sex. I wonder if the right word I'm using, if it's excitement or anxiety.
That is also a factor. But okay, again, if it's with a stranger that you don't know and you finally get a chance to have sex with the person and you can't get an erection, that's anxiety, because you are accustomed to getting an erection. So it's performance anxiety. Because you're afraid to perform, the brain releases a chemical where you tell yourself, boy, I hope I don't lose this erection. Immediately a chemical is released from your brain and you lose the erection, and you need 20 minutes for that to come out of your system. It's called PDE5.
Okay.
Some women need the right man to bring them alive. Of course. Sometimes you're married to someone and this person is your partner for life, but that may not be your sexual partner, because the person is not doing the things that you need, male and female. And I'm not saying this for persons to engage in infidelity and whatnot. I'm just telling you the reality of it. There are women throughout their lives who have lived with a man and were never sexually satisfied, but they remain with that man and they never horn him. And they choose to do that. There's nothing wrong with that either. But in this day and age, when you have a revolution and an evolution in the minds of women and men, there are too many men now who cares about things that are not important. And I'll give you some example of these things. They care more about their car than their woman.
Yeah, I know guys like that.
They care more about the cell phone than their woman. They care more about hanging out with their partners than their woman. They care more about the rum shop than their woman. They care more about playing video games than their woman. They care more about looking at television and movies than their woman. So what's going to happen? Aren't you forsaking your woman? And there are women who will put up with it. and lie in bed frustrated. They will cry. They will call Dr. Raj. They go send me a message in the middle of the night. My man watching TV at the other time with me. I get that all the time. It is not strange to me. I get it. So it's not something I'm making up. What could I do to get my man to come in bed and make love to me? Did you put on a sexy necklace? Yeah, it's like he blind to that. I walk in front of the TV and like he hears that. Or he busy playing video game with his family overseas and all his headphone and thing on, and then playing, one person challenging the other person overseas, and some person's busy on the computer doing nothing. But I see masturbating. You have a wife in the bed. You could have sex with she, but you prefer to masturbate. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with our society. We are going on a terrible road here. And it is manifesting itself in what is supposed to be the most pleasurable, pleasant good night to WP, that sexy woman.
Tell me something. What about people who work like, whatever, 24-hour day, they work like 15?
That also will play upon your sexual behavior. You could be mentally and physically tired from work. You could be stressed out from work. But don't you think sex is a good stress reliever? She actually agreed on something. It is. It relieves your stress, or it relieves other people's stress?
I can tell for myself.
Oh, she can tell for herself. Right. But sex is a good stress, and sex is not only penetrative sex, Sex could be cuddling, sex could be making love, sex could be kissing, it could be oral sex, it could be just lying down there holding one another, she touching you where it matters, and you touching her where it matters. And there are women who can have orgasm not from penetration, just from simply being with a man. There are men who can ejaculate before they enter.
What about those kind of guys? I know a guy who was my good friend when we left school, but he ended up in so much trouble that he ended up in prison or anything that way. I know he was a kind of person that was very anxious when it comes to having sex and thing. Sometimes
he was thirsty.
And one time his girlfriend told me that he'd be so excited and this and that. Everything crashes before.
Yes, because you are a premature ejaculator. And let's face it, when a man break, he don't want to have anything to do with sex. Most men, they're ready to turn and go to sleep, because it is our refractory period. But there are men, you could condition yourself that even though you break, you could still condition yourself to be in that responsive mode to your partner. Do what it takes to make her feel good. Do what it takes. And work on your problem, because eventually what she's going to say, you're a minute man, I don't want to make love to you. Come to her and she say, okay, get it over with and that's done. Because I know you're going to be done, finish in a minute anyway. So they go to Dr. Raj Adult Boutique and they buy a dildo, and after he gone to sleep, they use it on themselves. Or a vibrator. But that is the fact.
But is that a medical breakdown with the system? Or?
It is something called premature ejaculation. That is when your PC muscle is so weak, you have no control over it, that you ejaculate very quickly. And some of the men out there feel like a fool, man. They come and they tell you they have premature ejaculation. They ask them how long it is. Well, it's only about 3 months now. So before that, how long you still last? Well, I still last about 5 minutes. There was a premature ejaculator all the time. They feel like a fool, me,
Yeah.
Why let them feel so? Because they don't want them to feel bad.
Right.
But I remember I have the answer before you give it to me. Sure. Talking to the mic.
You think that it's all in your mind, like fail to break fast?
No. Premature ejaculation is not in your mind. It is in your penis, the PC muscle.
So it has nothing to do with anxiety.
Well, anxiety triggers off the PC muscle. Nervousness triggers off the PC muscle.
Sometimes I see
if you have control over your PC muscle, you will ejaculate when you want to ejaculate.
I think stunning beauty, outstanding physique. You see that, you...
Okay, like this young lady here.
Yeah. I mean,
I will tell you, she can't make me break. She could try how she wants. She could be how pretty and how sexy and how she can't make me break.
You think anxiety plays a role?
The feeling could be how strong. I have control over my PC muscle, which I learned when I was 15 years of age, which I used to sell in school as a project. copybook page. I used to write it. Well, in those days, I have photocopying machine, so I write it, and I used to sell pages. And fellas who went to school with me learn how to control the PC muscle, and now I do it in my business. And I still use some of the similar techniques. Of course, it has been advanced now. But if you want to learn to control your PC muscle is not one muscle. It's a band of muscle that forms a hammock between your penis and your anus. It's the muscle that makes you get an erection. It's the muscle that makes your penis jump when you have an erection. It's the muscle that you cut off your pee with when you're peeing. It's the muscle that you use for defecating. It's the muscle that you use for everything down there. But if you don't know to control the part that stops the ejaculation, you're not going to stop it. So the PC muscle, no, I know a lot of people will be Googling, like one guy, he went to Google and Google tell him this. Google would give you the answer for that. Google will, let me just go down there. I just get too angry for that. Everybody wants a shortcut, they don't want to go through. Now the procedure takes about 3 months for a person to learn to control their PC muscle. You know what is the famous excuse men make when they break fast? Woman, you're too sweet, girl. That thing too sweet. You make me break fast. No one can make you break fast.
So isn't there a mental picture painted in your mind during that?
No, it is because you're weak.
Yeah.
All the premature ejaculators out there, anybody who cannot last 20 minutes, you're a premature ejaculator. You're weak. If it fall in your garden, too bad for you. Like I say, I didn't say it blunt as it is. If it falls in your garden, that is what it is. If you condition yourself to ejaculate when you want to ejaculate. Now, I haven't said this in a long time. I'm going to say it again. I don't like to break when I'm having sex. It's no fun for me. I prefer to go on and on and on and next day and whatever. Because nobody can make me break except anyway. But it is mind control. It is ability to it is your ability to control you. So no matter how the person looks or whatever, if you have the control, it will. Now you could give on or give the person a little bit of the control. You could tell them what to do to get you to that point, to take you over the edge. So when I teach people these techniques and whatnot, and I start telling them what they need to do and how they go about doing it, within a week, they'll just be calling me and saying, hey, I double up on my time. I said, don't call me now. Call me in a month time. When you double your time from a minute to 2 minutes. Yeah. And when you go from a minute to 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then the next time you come in for that, now here how it goes. You always double your time when you do the techniques properly. So you go from a minute to 2 minutes, 2 minutes to 4 minutes, 4 minutes to 8 minutes, 8 minutes to 16 minutes. And so it goes on. You actually double your time each time you learn to do it properly. So in 3 months' time, you're lasting 20 to 30 minutes. Easily. But it is totally dependent on the individual to do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. I can't do it for you. I have learned the technique when I was 15 years of age. I have made it into part of my training and teaching. You want me to do it for you too?
So if you're a person that constantly does quickies, right? And you're using that as an excuse?
Well, constantly doing quickies is you using the quickie as an excuse, yes, but you also know that is your capability. It tells me that is your if a person constantly doing quickies, it tells me that is the person's capability. They'll tell you, I like quickies. It's not you like quickies, that's all you could do.
So there are some women who might be really tigers in bed.
There are some women who could have satisfaction from sex without having an orgasm.
Okay,
that's a given.
Let's look like the women who, God forbid for me saying that, the women who are prostitutes.
Prostitutes don't enjoy sex, you know.
No. There are some of them. I mean, Raj, I know some of them who are crafty. They might have all kind of different techniques.
Oh, of course.
You know.
Of course.
So
there are women with a superb vagina that'll make you break in 2 seconds.
But so you can blame the man in that sense.
But if you bring a super perm, I will show you how to do it. You want the practical? If you know what to do, and that was just a joke. If you know what to do, no matter what technique the woman have, you counteract that technique with your technique. It's like playing tennis. You're playing against a champ. You know you can't beat the champ, right? But you tell yourself, here what? I going as far as I could go. So every technique that he or she throws on you with spinning the ball or whatever, you play back or you don't play. It's like batting. You're going and play cricket. The bowler, you afraid him like hell. I will always remember this. Playing cricket for Northeastern College. Ruskin Mark playing for St. Benedict's. Come to bowl. I have to go in 4 down. Man coming in after me tell me, here what? No, man who was before me tell me, say, if you come and meet me in the wicket, just make 1 run. That's all. Just make 1 run. And that man hit Ruskin Mark for a few 6s and 4s. He started spin balling. Ruskin Mark, was a fast bowler. Okay. But I wasn't equipped to bat him. I'll tell you as it is. I was scared like hell. I was in Form 3, I think. I was scared like hell to go in that wicket. But I tell myself, and this is what my friend tell me, say, Raj, all you need to do is make 1 run if you have to face him. Because he knew the way he was bowling, I was coming in soon because he had to go in soon. I'm talking about openers. Number 3 and 4 was the opener.
Yeah.
But the fear was in me. Now, I can't go in there with my eyes closed because you could get hurt. In them days, you wear no helmet and thing. Exactly. It's only, we used to play with 1 pad. Your front foot pad, that is it. Yeah. And gloves, shot and gloves. How that protecting you? You know the shot and gloves? Yeah. You want the green spike? That's what we play with. Yeah. Right? But the mindset is, I must be able to take you as far as I could go. I know I can't beat you. But I must be. The same thing you're making love to a woman. She is an expert. Now, if you read the book called Happy Hooker, all those questions that you asked is answered in that. Because she was one of the world's most famous prostitutes ever passed through this earth. And she had every technique in the book. And she met men who challenge her and take her down the line. She met men, and as a matter of fact, she dedicated one of her book called The Penis to the men that she met who took her down the line. Because as much as she knew all the technique, you know there's a technique to fracture a man's penis.
Well, you know, that happened to a good friend of mine, and
Yeah.
I didn't believe that.
Yeah, you can fracture your penis, you can break it, of course. Of course.
I can't believe
They
that.
just teach you that. They just teach that in Middle Eastern countries. If a man raping you, what to do
How
to
that
it.
happens, Raj? I mean, for real, how that happens? When I heard about it,
The
I
proper
said,
twisting of
I
your
see people
pelvic
just
area.
talk a lot of
No, that happens. You could fracture a man's penis. There are many men who get Peyronie's disease because of a fractured penis. We have Trinidadians have that. And they will tell you, I don't know how I get it. I say, you can remember the day you was having sex and it was real painful? Yeah, boy, that woman do something there and she bonks on it. I say, she bonks on it, she fractured her penis. She didn't know, she might not know the technique to fracture her penis, but that is what happened. So women could fracture a man's penis. That they teach that in the Middle Eastern countries. So if you're being raped, what to do, how to break a man's penis. I think it should be taught to every country. Every woman should know how to break a penis. Well, you see now, like everything else, you have your ups and downs. Yeah. But we're talking about for the protection of women out there.
That's a woman who really don't like her husband. Because he had to come back home.
Because he had to come back. You have to use it later on.
Yeah. Yeah, but I heard about that.
Yeah, you could fracture a penis. No, you could fracture a penis.
I didn't believe it at all.
But getting back to the question that was asked, I mean, these are little anecdotes that I give to reinforce the points that I'm making, but also to show the reality of it. The reality of it. So you meet a woman who is equipped to make you ejaculate quickly. She might have a super vagina. She may know the right thing to tell you. She might know how to caress your buttocks or your back or whatever. There are women who have all these techniques. That's why fingernails are important. Let me see fingernail. Nah, she ain't none. So see, she had problems.
Yeah.
So, if you could counteract whatever they're doing, remember the brain is the largest sex organ that you have. Large in terms of capability, in terms of control. I could be making love now to someone here and thinking about Sheila down the road. That's how big your brain is. Right? You could be making love with your partner on the bed, and all kind of things you could be conjuring up in your mind to get you to that point of ejaculation or enjoying sex. Isn't that true? Right. That's what that. But in terms of mass, the largest sex organ that we have is our skin. So there are things that a woman could do to your skin that will make you feel it, if she knows what she's doing. That's why fingernails are important. That's why caressing, kissing, sucking. A man's nipple is a very sensitive area, But some men are afraid that if a woman suck my nipple, I'm gay. That doesn't make you gay. Nothing makes you gay. You're either born gay or you're initiated into being gay. Nothing makes you gay. So if you like certain things, for example, anal penetration, that doesn't make you gay if you like that in sex. If you're doing it with a woman, it doesn't make you gay. It's a woman doing it to you. But there's some men who are afraid if a woman touches them, what? You feel like man or? That's a reaction. But the woman might like doing it because she has it in her mind to do that. So the skin is the largest in terms of mass. How you relate to that? It depends on the person and their technique. But if my brain is larger than the mass that I carry, you feel there's anything you could do to me that will make me break? Nah, man, come again. I have control over that. That's what you have to tell yourself. That is the major technique in controlling. That is the major technique in controlling that action, that involuntary. Now, let me ask a question. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anybody here. Where does ejaculation or breaking originate?
In the mind.
In the mind? No. Spinal column. It sends a signal to your brain, and your brain tells your penis, let go. Why don't you cut that? That's why when I talk about techniques of Tantra, the different chakras, from your base chakra to the top of your head, and the Kundalini, that electrical current that goes up and down your spine. For the want of a better word. There's some people that say the snake that you have in your back. It has no physical snake there. The snake that you have in your back is called the Kundalini. These are all Hindustani words to explain these things because it's explained in the Kama Sutra and whatnot. If it takes an electrical impulse from your spine to your brain for your brain to tell your penis to ejaculate, don't you feel you should have an ability to cut that off? That's what the PC muscle does. So when the brain sending that muscle down to the PC muscle to let go, PC muscle do something. Your mother, not now, later. And one of the things, let me just teach people here a quick technique. Tonight when you're making love, I'm sure people are going to be making love tonight after the program. When you're having sex with your woman, and woman, please accommodate the man. Should I give this away? Yeah. What the hell? I don't go down that road. Yeah. When you're making love to your man, and as you put the penis in your vagina, and you're feeling sweet as though you want to break, two things you could do. Either he pulls his penis out and you squeeze it, the base of the penis where it joins the balls, squeeze it and squeeze it hard. You wouldn't break the penis, it won't cause any damage. That will stop him, the penis will twitch like that, and it will stop him from ejaculating. Or, he drives the penis all the way into the vagina. Don't move, remain still, and he has to control that. And the penis will throb, some precum will come out, but don't worry, there's no break. And then start the action. Even if you're losing the erection, the pumping action will bring back the penis.
We have more on the other side of these.
The event of the summer is here.
Yo, Kids Jamboree!
Kids Jamboree 2019, featuring your favorite superheroes and champions. This is the Superpowered Kids Concert of the summer. Introducing Nyla and her full band.
I will be there to make you get off your feet and dance.
Nyla. Super Second.
Yo, Kids Jamboree, I'm coming. Your boy Super Second.
Coming to make you pump, jump, and make you rock out. The Incredible Island Boy, Pretty.
On August 4th, Kids Jamboree 2019, the Incredible Island Boy Pretty will be live. I'm just so excited to show you my new superpower, the control over candy.
The ultimate party champion, 5-star kill.
Yo, we going Jamboree 5-star kill. I am coming to bring all the vibes. Superheroes.
Joyous Sharon.
doesn't
This is
matter.
Joyous Sharon, and I'm excited about the 4th of August,
That's
the
what we
kids'
did?
jamboree. You know, my superpower is to bring love, laughter, joy, peace. Oh, bam, bam, mera, mera. My journey got
Okay.
a lot of
But you could have read it out.
Now, read it out. I don't
Yeah.
want to show you first.
Yeah. That's
Super
cool.
Second, 5-star Akil, and Preeti, the Incredible Island Boy, at the Summer Kids Jamboree on Sunday, 4th August, at the ML Ballpark, Mokoya.
Kids Jamboree.
Superheroes and champions. Sponsored by Cons Bike Zone, Sunshine Cereals, and the Any1 mobile app. Kids, grab your friends. And your parents, too. The event of the summer is here. Kids Jamboree 2019. Featuring your favorite superheroes and champions. Coming to champion love, laughter, and togetherness. We introduce Joyous Sharon.
Alright, make me talk to them children, them why. Talk to them, why. Bam, bam, mera, mera. My journey got a lot of work with me.
Joyous Sharon, with the power to spread happiness.
Well, this is Joyous Sharon, and I'm excited about the 4th of August, the kids' jamboree. You know, my superpower is to bring love, laughter, joy, peace. And I'm just looking forward to be there. Don't miss it.
Jetlag going to hit me tomorrow.
Sharon Nurse.
Said Jetlag going to hit me
Joyous
tomorrow.
Sharon at the Summer Kids Jamboree on Sunday, 4th August at the ML Ballpark, Mokoya. The fun and vibes is coming.
It's coming on.
Superheroes and champions. Sponsored by Cons Bike Zone, Sunshine Cereals.
Surely laughing. I know she laughing at me, with me. That's why I never became a comedian. You know. I don't like people laughing at me.
Imagine. Hello? Yeah, my boy. Yeah, master. I can't hear me. You hear me? Hello?
Louder than ever. 6 to 9 p.m. Blazing the conscious fire with your favorite reggae superstars. Fire Fridays. Tune in and start your reggae weekend with Fire Fridays, 6 to 9 on Power 1 and 2. Empowering you.
I'm Lester Sudlow, inviting you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m.
Yeah, Gil, you hear me now?
p.m. for the program
Yeah.
Slow Gospel Music, a program designed to soothe your mind and uplift your spirit here on Power 102.1.
Alright, I still enjoy. I'm coming out in about 20 minutes. I'm going. I want to go to the bank and stuff to find out.
This is Power 102, empowering you.
Let's continue. Got a text message here from a friend.
From your friend?
I don't know, it's just friend. I wonder. Unless she looks like the person on that picture you showed me. What about vagina dryness? Could you speak on it a little, please?
Vagina dryness is a very serious issue.
It is.
Yes. And that is an indication of two important things. A hormonal imbalance in the individual or a lack of lubrication based on non-attraction to your partner. Especially in an abusive situation or a situation where you two have gone so far apart that there's no coming back. So the body is not reacting to whatever advances you are making.
That's not a physical problem.
It's a physical thing, but it's not a problem per se, unless, of course, now, vaginal dryness also, if you're having sex during vaginal dryness, it's like having sex with sandpaper. Eh? It's very painful for the woman, very, very painful. And when I talk about sandpaper, I'm not talking about sandpaper on your penis alone, you know. I'm talking about, it's like rubbing sandpaper on the inside of a woman's vagina. Very painful.
But people who have a condition like that, how that can
Oh, that is treatable. That is something you can work on, but first of all, we have to look at a number of factors. If the woman is not drinking enough water, it could be a dehydration issue.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I ask women to do. Drink more water and tell me what happens during intercourse or prior to intercourse. Are you lubricating? Because lubrication is an indication that I am ready for penetration. That's why men produce pre-com, because the pre-com is also to help with penetration. Secondly, be honest about your attraction towards your partner. You don't have to say it out loud. You have to know within yourself if there is that attraction and if it's still there. Thirdly, are the techniques that are being used beneficial to you that will cause you to become aroused or excited? You know, there's some women, when they see their lover, they get wet like that. They're leaking. And there's some women, they see their man, their husband, whoever, and they want to run from him because of ill treatment. When a woman switches off for you, mentally switches off for you, the body reacts to that. Now, if it's a hormonal problem, it means to say she's not producing enough lubrication. Her Bartholin gland is not working the way it's supposed to work. She might have thyroid problems that could contribute to it. She could have diabetes that could also contribute to it. Or she could be postmenopausal or menopausal. Now, even after you've gone through menopause, that's one of the issues women face. Although they're free to have sex and not worry about becoming pregnant, the vagina remains dry and brittle. So it tears very easily.
I say that if menopause will bring on a situation like that.
Well, right. So I'm giving all as much as I remember. I'm trying to give it.
Can be into wet ear problem.
Yes, because it causes the penis to slip out of the vagina. And, but again, you never hear about a hair clot?
People say the wetter the better, Raj?
Not all the time.
Yeah.
No, not all the time. Because then the woman doesn't get the full penetration. Because if it over lubricates, it's like, okay, you know, if you over lubricate a bearing, it slips out. The ball slips out.
Yeah.
It's the very same thing. If you over lubricate a vagina, what happens is that the friction that is also needed inside of the vagina, it is there because of the tightness of the vagina, but there's too much lubrication between the penis and the vagina. So you could either partake of some or get a hair clot. You know what's a hair clot?
What's a hair clot?
When you don't have sex, you say hair to wipe up there. It's called a hair clot. But you have one at the bedside and you sup up, get rid of some of the extra lubrication. Oh, you don't go about walking about with a hair clot now, eh?
But you know, there are a lot of people who believe that there's some sort of connection with that dryness and probably the physical, you know.
Dry is not good. Too wet is also not good. It could cause the penis to slip, and it also could cause the man to lose his erection because of the lack of friction. Because you depend on friction also for that. But there's so many. I don't want to make sex complicated, but if you throw all these different things into the fray, it becomes complicated because there's so many things that could go wrong. The position that a woman's in, for example, if a woman is on top, reverse cowboy, or she's on top of you, with and going up and down, and she's very wet, you are going to get real wet. I mean, up to your navel is going to get wetness, right? So, there's some men who enjoy it, there's some men who don't, there's some men who could lose it. And again, it all depends on the man and it depends on the situation and all the things that are happening. Some of these questions will be asked tomorrow night, you know, when we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Yeah. But I could really use some of the words I want to do. Yeah. Some men are so selfish that all they care about is them breaking and then the party done. So true. So true.
What happened in instances like that where the woman is concerned?
Where the woman is?
Consider a guy to be that and describes a guy to be like that.
She would find a way to get satisfaction, either by exploring herself, doing things. There are women who froth, they rub their vagina on the pillow, they do something to get off. Or some women get up and they go to the bathroom and they play with themselves. Or they do it on the bed. Because the man fast asleep. He go through his refractory period. And she busy with what she has to do, but she want to hear the snoring in her ears. Correct?
What about if we go back to that quick ejaculation, there are some guys who Well, go for aphrodisiacs. Good and bad about that.
Aphrodisiacs are mainly placebos, meaning it's in the mind. I could give you a tablet, and because I'm Dr. Raj, and I tell you this tablet will make you last real long, and it will make you last long.
Mentally, you get it done. But tell me about aphrodisiacs that
Well,
are effective.
There are aphrodisiacs that you can use, but aphrodisiacs like everything else. Do you know why a boxer don't eat a piece of dasheen in one box? And dasheen is give you energy. It's carbohydrates, right? It's complex carbohydrates. It's supposed to give you energy. But why don't you eat a piece of dasheen in one box? Because it's not digested. It has not gone through the process for you to get the energy out of it. It's the very same thing with the things that you use. There are men who will go and drink a glass of oysters now and say, I'm going to put on work tonight. When it takes 8 hours for the oysters to digest and get into your system, the zinc and all those things that get in. So the oysters kicking in tomorrow. So you don't put on work. And tomorrow you wake up with a hard.
What about the guys who it's a punching is it by?
How could an alcohol, which is poison, be it?
But now what they say, right?
No, well, they go say that because they want you to feel that they're macho, but they sit down drinking rum. And I challenge any guy who's sitting down in a rum shop and drinking and living in a rum shop to be good at sex. He go tell you yes. The woman might tell you yes because she afraid licks, but he ain't good. You cannot be drinking poison and expect to be good. Alcohol is not an aphrodisiac. There are some men who say, I will last longer when I drink rum. Well, go ahead and become an alcoholic. There are some men who will tell you, it's like marijuana. You ever smoke marijuana? Right. When you smoke marijuana, you just feel to eat everything. You open up your appetite, and you just forget to just eat. That's all it is. It's a hallucinogenic drug. That's what it is. It's a hallucinogenic drug. You don't remember the things that you did just 5 minutes ago. It messes with your mind. You tell alcohol don't mess with your mind too? Not in the same way, but it does mess with your mind. You go home and feel you're a stud and you're real put on work. That time we put on work for 2 minutes and you, why last night I really come that thing, boy? And she watching yourself. She not going to argue with you. She said, yeah, it was real good. But you can remember. You can remember everything you could do when you're drunk. Some men tell you, I'm a better driver when I'm drunk. Yeah, right. How could you be a better driver when you're drunk?
At all.
You cannot be.
No way.
You can be a better walker when you're drunk. Fall for a better lover. If you're drunk and I tell you walk a straight line from there to the door, you're sure hitting this post. I guarantee hitting that post. This post is only 10 feet away from that wall. And I guarantee you're going to hit this post before you reach the wall. So if you cannot walk properly, why after you drink alcohol, how could you drink alcohol and have sex properly? Answer me that question. I deal with logic, you know. Walking, which you do every single time you get up to move or whatever. Walking is, if you have to put it in perspective, maybe about 50% of our life we spend walking, moving about. Right? We spend having sex maybe about 5% of our life. So what you're doing 50%, you can't do it properly when you take a few drinks. You go have sex. But come on, man. Come on, who you trying to fool? Me? Go and fool somebody else with that.
So what's your take with Viagra and Cialis and them kind of thing?
Viagra was never meant for sex. Viagra, you remember that chemical I told you about? What was the chemical? Let me see. If you're in class. PD5. That's all Viagra does. It blocks that chemical from being released.
Okay.
But if you have a heart condition, you cannot use Viagra.
I know
Cialis and Levitra were designed for sex, but it doesn't work for everyone. Again, because of other conditions. Those are not aphrodisiacs. Those are medical treatment for persons who have erectile dysfunction and sexual dysfunction. There's a difference. Things that are used as an aphrodisiac for sex. I see somebody ask about Blackstone. Blackstone is not an aphrodisiac. Blackstone is all it is benzocaine heated and turned into a black stone that you rub on your penis to numb it. And anytime you're using a numbing agent on your penis, what happens? The penis is raw. It has 12, you know the penis has 12,000 nerve endings on it, right? You have a clitoris? How many nerve endings do you have on your clitoris? What is the size of your clitoris? This is the size of a penis head, right? This is the size of a clitoris, right? You have 12,000 nerve endings on this. How much you'll have on this? 24,000. That's double the amount. That's why the clitoris is only for sex. That's why the clitoris is only for sex. It has double the amount of nerve endings on the clitoris as opposed to the penis. And it is 100 times smaller. Wow.
So all that China.
You learn something.
I used to be
China
about
brush, I think?
China, man, and all kind
China
of-
brush. Yeah. But getting back to what I was saying. When you spray something onto the penis, or you rub something onto the penis, what happens? The nerve eventually retracts. It's like when you get injection for
Toothache.
a Novocaine,
Yeah.
for toothache and whatnot. What it does, it just pull back the nerve, you know. That's all it does. It numbs the nerve. What we say, numb the nerve. So eventually pulling back the nerve, the penis gets softy and whitish. Because the nerves have been pulled back. You damage yourself. You think people should start paying for all this information that's beginning on this program, and they wouldn't even call and ask a question?
Yes, early. That kind of
it's-
talk, they ain't calling that talk. Too early for that. They'll call tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we start at 9. So I hope they have all their questions tomorrow. But there's so many things that goes with the physicality of sex. The physical things that we need to do with sex. Our penis, our vagina, our breasts. Men have breasts. We have breast tissues. And now you have a gynecomastia. You have a lot of men, young men who have breasts developing. You know they have a hormone imbalance. You know that they have low testosterone.
Roger, a lot of young guys who use Viagra and things.
Yeah, I know. You have to tell me that. You see it, you hear it.
Why?
Ask anybody with a pharmacy, they'll tell you.
What will make them do that? And that young, back in them days, what?
Raj, crazy?
What's that?
There wasn't anything like Viagra and thing back in those days. You
No,
might have-
long time. We used to still look for Babande, and we used to still
Yeah,
look
well-
for a little oyster, and we used to still look for things. We used to still look for a Spanish fly, and a man actually brought
Yeah, you know that.
a man actually brought a fly and said that's a Spanish fly. I never forget that. You know, long time they used to wrap pencil paper
Yeah.
and make 2 folds,
Yeah.
and then take one and fold it into the other. The man brought it like that, you know,
What you say?
and tried to sell us it, you know. He said it's a Spanish fly.
He might just meant a fly that came across the Venezuela. But you know, it's shocking because I've been to pharmacies and things already.
And you see fellas lined up for it.
And right behind me, guys talking that this is what they're going to buy because they'll walk to put on, you know.
So I don't know. When I saw the guys who were behind me, I said, oh my God, what a sorry situation.
It is a very sad
What do you
situation.
mean? That's very sad.
And I'll tell you why. One of it is that we have a lot of men out there who are not sure of themselves. 2 is they want to go and put on work and they have no control over their PC muscle, or they don't know the proper functioning of their penis or what to do. 3, they feel that sex is all about the penis and not the other parts of the body.
It's penis size and stuff.
Yeah, that's what they're concerned about. If you could make love properly to a woman with your finger, I mean a finger in her, or performing oral sex, don't you think you could satisfy with any size of penis as long as you know what to do? But it is entirely up to the individual.
That's some women ain't going for that, right?
No, it has some women, they would, I know that.
Everybody put that thing back in.
Yeah, but no, you're wrong. And I'll tell you why you're wrong. You have been with many women, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Any woman ever ask you before you had sex with him, what is the size of your penis? So let me see it first.
No, I'm talking about.
No, but wait.
Yeah, no.
Women do not, they don't, if a woman like you, she care about the size of your penis. She care about you and what is going to happen. If you're incapable of performing, or if she's looking for something that she have in her mind, that is what she's looking for. There are some women who like a bigger penis, but women don't ask you the size of your penis before they have sex. That is a no-no.
They don't complain.
It's only little girls that ask that question. Or gay men. Anytime you see a person, is a woman on the phone, and she asks you the size of your penis, that's a gay man. That is a gay man. Gay men will ask you that, or young girls who watching porn and feel like what sex is about. That's just the reality of it. That's why Junior is walking around with a picture of his.
Oh.
You want to see the size much?
Hey, okay, family.
Let me show you it.
Don't go there with that. Now, boy, family, they don't accept you.
Hey, Junior didn't see you walking away. I didn't know you come. Hey, what? You sneaking there, quiet. I wanted to bust some violence on Junior.
But you know, I hear women say that, Raj. You know,
There
this-
are women who like a large size penis. Yes. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But the average woman, you come across, they're not concerned about that. They're more concerned about their lover, how I feel about the man.
Yeah.
That is what they're concerned about. It might be a plus, what you do and your technique and whatnot. But guys are so caught up in that you know what is the biggest problem in this and any country that have an African male? The size of their penis. Because they've been looking at porn and seen these men who they hire for that and feel that is how my penis have to look. And when they have an average size or normal size penis, they feel that they're inadequate. But the average size of a penis worldwide is 5 1/4 inch. 5 1/4 inch.
You're blessed if you're beyond that.
Of course. But not all women like beyond that. There's some women who will tell you, you're putting that in me. Just as how there's some when they say put it away, there's some women who say, you're putting that in me. They might like to see it. It's like aesthetics. It's like, okay, I don't like breasts. I'm not a breast man. But if you see a woman with big boobs, you admire it. But it doesn't mean to say I want to be with you because you have big breasts. It's the very same thing. There's some women who will say, you're putting that nowhere near me, you know. So it all depends on who. That's why I tell you, there's so many things associated with sex that you got to know your partner and what you're capable of doing. And if the person, now, barring you're a minute man or the woman is too dry, those are the two things you have to be concerned about. Yes, you want to fix that. Your technique, how to make love, understanding your partner, those are the things you have to fix. Not study what it could be, or, okay, she should be looking like Beyonce for me to make. No. You're setting your standards, not too high, you know. You're setting your standards where it will never reach. And what's going to happen with you? You're going to fail. Or you'll never be satisfied with the person you're with. So, folks, we've reached the end of our program tonight.
Yes.
Until tomorrow night, remember 9 to 12. We have a lovely lady we have to introduce to you tomorrow night. Well, she introduced herself tonight. She was just talking.
Yeah, she didn't introduce herself. She just,
no,
she just spoke.
Her voice.
Yeah,
Her voice was heard.
Voice, yeah.
And that's all they're getting tonight. Nothing more. Good night.
Thank you, Raj and company. Family's up next, people. God's willing, I'll be back with you on Sunday morning.